Hi everyone, welcome to week 3 of English 205. I'm going to walk you through what you need to do in class for this week. So I'm on our English 205 homepage here. I'm just going to scroll down to our weekly modules. This is week 3, or I should say we're going to start week 3. So I'm going to open that up. This week we are focusing on pre-writing and planning for the problem solution essay that is due in week 5. Whether this course is a continuation of English at Honduras College of Nursing for you, or if you took Comp 1 at another institution, you should be familiar with the concept of the writing process, which includes the steps of pre-writing, drafting, and revising. During week 3, you will focus on the pre-writing and planning stage of the writing process for the upcoming problem solution essay. Pre-writing is everything that you do in preparation for your first draft. You may even come back to it later, between drafts, as you revise your work. There are 3 parts to pre-writing as we do it in this class. First of all, the invention or idea generation stage, so you actually come up with what you want to write about. Next, coming up with a thesis, and then finally an outline for your paper. Invention or idea generation may take many forms. There's no right way to do it as long as you do it. You should try different methods until you find something that works for you. Try new ones again from time to time as your writing style grows and develops. You may come across something that you like, or something that works for you now but didn't work for you before. Some things that you might try are free writing, clustering, listing, journalist questions, creating pro-con lists, creating a Venn diagram, and there are tons more. There are so many different pre-writing and idea generation activities, some of which are addressed in our textbook. Others, if you just Google it or put it into YouTube, how to come up with ideas or pre-writing strategies for essays, you'll come up with a lot of good things to use. The thesis, once you have thought about what you want to write, once you've come up with some ideas, maybe also after you've done some research, you're going to come up with a thesis. Once you have a good topic, lots of ideas around it, decide what exactly you want your essay to be all about. That's what the thesis statement is. It identifies your main point. The thesis is that one sentence you want your reader to take away from the essay. If they remember nothing else after finishing your work, what should it be? Make this as concise as possible. Typically, you do not want thesis statements to be very long. Ideally, you want them 1, maybe 2 sentences max. A good model for a thesis statement is you're going to state your topic plus make a statement about that topic. So an example of thesis might be hedgehogs make great pets. So there the topic is hedgehogs, and then our statement, the thing we want to say about it, is that they make great pets. Finally, you'll take this thesis statement and all the ideas you came up with and organize them into an outline. The outline is the most important part of the writing process because it lets you make plans and decisions about your ideas before you spend all of that time actually drafting the paper. The outline should be done before sitting down to work on your first draft, but that doesn't mean that it's set in stone. You can always come back to it and adjust the outline, or completely get rid of it and create a new one. Writing is often what is called a recursive process, meaning that it doesn't necessarily work in a straight line. Oftentimes you'll make some progress and then maybe return to something, make some more progress, then come back to that idea, make some more progress, come back to something else, and keep kind of cycling back. Here you'll see the objectives for this week. We're going to be practicing the writing process. You'll be developing an effective thesis statement. You are going to employ an effective research plan. You're going to come up with an outline for your problem solution essay. You will identify and analyze a problem, and you will also be proposing a solution. Now we're moving on to our readings and resources for this week. These are already in correct APA style. So if you need to reference any of these sources, and this goes for every week in the class, all of the assigned readings, we have the APA references already here for you under the readings and resources. You're welcome to just copy and paste these if you need to cite them. We also have some additional resources down here. So there's like a presentation on the writing process. We have some good APA resources like APA style basics, a quick guide for APA style. And on Wednesday, I believe it was, I did a pretty long presentation on APA style. It was really pretty thorough. I went over a lot of facets of APA, and I sent that video out to you. So if you find that you are struggling with APA, or you don't have a lot of experience with it, or if it's been a while since you've used APA, these resources are good for you to use. You can also use that video that I sent out to you earlier in the week. There are two main assignments for this week. The first one is the 3-1 McGraw-Hill Connect module. And now this has kind of three assignments within it. So I have the instructor page here from McGraw-Hill pulled up. So in module 3, there's three different kind of series of questions you'll need to work through. So we're covering chapter 2, which is on the writing process. Then there's a section on developing an effective thesis or claim, and then finally developing and implementing a research plan. Those are due by 11:55 p.m. on Sunday, and they can be turned in up to 2 days late. So Tuesday at 11:55 p.m. is the last day that I can accept late McGraw-Hill work. Moving on to probably the most important thing you're doing this week is the pre-writing and planning for your problem solution essay. This essay is not due until week 5, but we want to make sure that you have plenty of time to do your planning, do your research, and draft the paper before needing to turn it in. I recommend before getting started on this assignment, look through the problem solution essay instructions again. Hopefully you have already read through those. But even if you have, I think it'd be a good idea just to refresh yourself on what that essay entails. And then for the pre-writing and planning, there's 3 sections to it. So there are some questions that you're going to need to answer. Those are worth 30 points. You're going to make an outline of your paper, which is worth 60 points. And then you're going to have a references page with a minimum of 4 sources. That is worth 10 points. Now, for this assignment, you are required to use this problem solution template, which I have downloaded here. I'll pull that up for you. By typing directly on this template, it just helps keep your work organized. Everything's kind of laid out well. It also assists the instructors for English 205 to grade it. If everyone's outlines and questions are in different formats, different styles, it becomes harder to read through. So you must type your answers. You must put your outline, your list of references on this document. On the title page, you're going to put your name here. Heather is who created this document. Heather Burke, she's the main instructor for English 205. Sometimes I step in and help her if there are too many sections of 205 to teach. So you can swap out Professor Heather Burke for Professor Jacob Hale if you would like. Honestly, though, not really a big deal. Down here, you'll see the first section, which is the brainstorming. I would like you to respond to these prompts, and this is worth 30 points. You should do this before creating your outline. By answering these questions, you should have a pretty good idea of what you want to talk about in your paper. First of all, what problem will you focus on in your essay? Then, what are the causes of the problem? What are the effects of the problem? How long has the problem existed and how has it changed over time? In the past, what solutions have been put into action and why did those solutions fail, or why were they not as effective as they could have been? What solution or solutions are currently in place to remedy the problem, and why is that ineffective? How do you think the problem could best be solved? And then what are the objections of someone who disagrees with your position? If someone's going to be critical of the plan that you were suggesting, what might that person say, and what would be your response to those objections? You can also think of this in terms of, if if someone's skeptical was reading your paper, if someone was critically reading what you had to say and trying to find issues with it, what are the potential questions they might ask, or what are the potential issues they might have with your solution? So that's the first section. Part 2, you're actually going to create an outline for your paper. This is worth 60 points. Please note that you need to use complete sentences for the hook, your thesis statement, your topic sentences, and your concluding sentences. This outline is based on the Dewey sequence, and this is the order in which you should present your ideas in your paper. So by filling this out, you've really done a lot of the work. When it comes time to draft your paper, you'll basically just be taking things that you've put on this outline and then turning that into a more, fleshed out essay. Here in the first part, this is your introduction. What you need to write here, you need to have a hook. So you're actually going to write out your hook. You're not going to describe what your hook is going to be about. You're not summarizing your hook. Actually write out your hook here. Then include your thesis statement. This should be 1 to 2 sentences, and it should identify your problem and your solution. You'll write that out here in the space below. Then we're getting into the body of the paper. Each of these body paragraphs is going to have its own focus. So first of all, you're going to be defining and describing the problem. What you need to write here, so you don't actually need to write out the whole paragraph. You're going to write out your topic sentence. So topic sentence is the first sentence of a body paragraph. It tells the reader what the point of that paragraph is going to be. Then you're going to summarize what examples, what evidence you're going to use to support the point that you're making in this paragraph. And then you're going to write out your concluding sentence. The concluding sentence kind of brings the paragraph to a close and helps transition into the next paragraph. Your body paragraph shouldn't just come abruptly to a halt. There needs to be a sense of closure there, and you need to help guide the reader into the next section. Body paragraph 2, you're going to analyze the problem, talking about its history specifically. You'll repeat this process. Topic sentence, how are you going to support your point? And then what is your concluding sentence? Body paragraph 3, you're going to look at the causes of your problem. Body paragraph 4, you're going to talk about the effects of your problem. Body paragraph 5, you're going to propose and evaluate a solution. In body paragraph 6, you're going to present strategies to implement the solution. So in other words, how is your solution going to come to fruition? How are we going to put that plan into place? What needs to be done in order for your solution to happen? And you're going to end with a conclusion. Here, for your conclusion paragraph, you don't need to actually write out the conclusion just yet. You're just going to provide a summary of how you're going to tie everything together. The last section of this assignment is to list possible sources that you're going to include in your paper. You need to have a minimum of 4 sources. If you'd like to include more, you are welcome to do so, and those sources must be cited in APA style. Now, the sources that you list here do not have to be finalized. They aren't set in stone. So if you decide that you need to add more sources later on, or you want to get rid of some sources, that is totally fine. You're welcome to do so. But by the time you turn in this document, you really should have at least a solid idea of what sources, what research you're going to include in your problem solution essay. Once you are done with that, once you've filled out that document, I would save it to some place where you can easily find it. So whether that's Google Drive or in the cloud somewhere, save it to your computer. Make sure you have access to that document, and then you are going to upload it here. Now, I'm in the instructor view, so I don't have a place to submit this assignment, but you'll see there are instructions for file submission. So what you'll do is you'll just scroll down to the submit assignment area. It'll be at the bottom of this page, and there will be an option to add a file. So you'll find the document that you just saved on your computer or in the cloud or whatever, and then you will upload it to this assignment area. You can read through the instructions here if you need some guidance on that, or feel free to email me if you are struggling. Your assignment must be submitted on that template. If you do not use the template, you will lose points. Your essay also must be in a Microsoft Word format, so .doc or .docx. PDFs, Google Docs, .pages, those file types will not be accepted. Your submission is going to be automatically run through Turnitin, which will check for plagiarism. What Turnitin actually does, Turnitin isn't necessarily looking for plagiarism. It's looking to see if your words match other documents. So for instance, because all of you are turning in a template, you're being asked to write on a template, your Turnitin report is going to have a high match percentage because everyone is using the same template. Turnitin's going to highlight all of that as being quote unquote plagiarism. But that's not actually plagiarism, you're just using a template. What you need to check is that the words that you actually wrote, that there aren't any substantial matches to other people's work here. So you're not really being asked to quote in this document. Basically everything in this assignment here should be in your own words. The exception, of course, being the instructions, the template itself, and then your references. Your reference list might show up as, again, quote unquote plagiarism, but that's just because probably other people have used those sources before. So Turnitin's going to show that those are a match. That being said, it's a good idea to check your Turnitin report before finalizing your submission. So in other words, don't wait until the absolute last minute to turn in this assignment. Give yourself some time because it might take 10 to 15 minutes for the Turnitin report to generate. You'll then need to read the report and check for plagiarism. We have a guide here on how to use Turnitin in case you need some help with that. You can also ask me questions, of course. This assignment is due by 11:55 p.m. on Thursday of week 3. And that covers it for week 3. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know. I would be happy to help you out.